What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the 5th episode of the Rebound. We took a quick break, but we're back with a guest episode with Scott. Say what's up.
Hey, guys.
And then today we're going to be starting off doing our point guard list, top 10 point guards heading into the 2022-2023 season. We got to let you know we excluded some players. Our rankings when if you didn't play half the season or more, you were left off. So people like Damian Lillard, Kyrie Irving have been excluded from this list. So with that said, we're going to head straight into it with number 10. Scott, what do you have?
I put Marcus Smart at number 10.
Marcus Smart, yeah.
The defensive, brain of him is very valuable, but on the offensive end, he didn't do a lot for them,
Yeah, defensive player of the year. I didn't have him on mine. Did you have him on
Wow.
yours?
I had him on mine,
Wow.
but for my 10, I had DeJounte Murray, I think that the people that I put above him definitely proved themselves a lot more than him. Not a lot more, because he still had an all-star caliber season, averaging near a triple-double and around 2 steals a game. I think that's a solid pick.
I had Fred VanVleet at my 10. He was an all-star, but Fred VanVleet, I don't like anything about his game at all. He's really short.
He's really inconsistent.
He doesn't pass the ball for a point guard at all. They leave it to their forwards, which I like. You're building your young core, but it's the point guard's job to pass the basketball.
Yeah.
And he's so short. People say he's a good defender. When I saw him play, I saw him getting eaten alive by literally Isaiah Thomas. So I don't think he's a good defender.
He averaged 6.7 assists. What more do you want from him?
His usage rate compared to his assist percentage is like he's not passing it at all to the amount of times he's holding the ball.
All right.
For me with Van Vliet, I didn't have him on my top 10. I know he's an all-star, but
he barely made an all-star.
yeah, that and Siakam should have been an all-star over him.
Oh yeah,
Easily.
100%.
But for me, I had him on fantasy, so I saw him a lot, and he was extremely inconsistent the second half of the year.
Yeah, he started the first half red hot, and we were like, oh, he'll probably make an all-star team. But heading towards that all-star, he slowed down. Then after that, he took a drop, huge drop.
Definitely.
All right, so number 9, I had DeJounte Murray, who you had at 10. He's a great young defender. He was an all-star this year. He's got a great offensive game. And he's really filling out all those holes, like with his jump shot. I don't know, he just fills the holes the team needs.
See, from my 9, I did end up having Fred VanVleet because I don't know. I just liked like you said with DeJounte Murray. I liked the hole that he filled on the Raptors. After Kyle Lowry left, he really took that step up that the Raptors needed to get them into a higher position, and I think that he was exactly what the Raptors needed because they had the solid forward positions from Siakam and Scotty Barnes with the draft, and a solid center in Chris Boucher.
For my number 9, I had a little bit of a dark horse. I had Halliburton.
I like that a lot.
I really
love
liked
that.
his game, how he stepped up. When you're have 20 and 15 on multiple nights, and you're such a good defensive player, blocks, steals, everything. Yeah, you gotta be in the top 10 at least.
Halliburton's really skinny, but he's really lengthy, so he's got a great defensive upside.
Oh yeah,
He hits those threes. He led his team in playmaking. On the Kings, he was really good. They went to the Pacers, and he was even better, and he showed he can be a leader on that team.
Definitely.
All right, where are we on? Number 8?
Yes.
Yeah.
Number 8, I had LaMelo Ball. He was an all-star. He's great. When his team does bad, his team loses. That's it. LaMelo Ball was a heart and soul of that team. Like, when he wasn't there, Terry Rozier, maybe sometimes he stepped up, but it was LaMelo Ball or nothing. That's what I saw as a Hornets fan.
Scott?
For 8, I had Drew Holiday.
Drew Holiday.
I think he was extremely important on that Bucks run. Without him, obviously they didn't have Chris Middleton, which hurt them a lot. But he with big defensive plays, feeding the right person at the right time. High percentage shooter. Even though he doesn't shoot very often, he hits when he shoots, and he's a very valuable point guard. I think he's very underrated.
That's all you can really ask.
He still couldn't sweep the Bulls. Just saying. So for my, I have the swivel chair. For my 8, I had Darius Garland. I don't know. All the people that I put above him, I just think people like Marcus Smart and Drew Holiday. I think their defense elevates them so much more above him. And Darius Garland, he was like one of the best playmakers in the league this year, and along with scoring, and he really clicked with Evan Mobley in his rookie season, and it really helped Evan Mobley, develop too. He averaged 21 and 8. Like 21 and 8 for a third-year player is great. He was an all-star. He missed about 10, 12, 13 games. But that's still enough. He shot almost 40% from 3. And I think he was really the core of that team this year.
And you got him at 8.
And you got him at
Colin Sexton
8.
Yes.
Let's go straight into 7 because I want to know who you had at 7. Who did you have at 7?
Drew.
All right. At my 7, I had Drew too.
My 7, I had. You guys are gonna hate this. I had Chris Paul. I know he led the league in assists. I know, but like
It's bias.
I hate him. I don't like him, and I think with that failure of a Suns run.
Yeah,
that
was a failure.
He didn't do anything. He's just
he was a turnstile. That player.
He's a shadow of his former self.
Yeah, but did you see that dagger where he cut the lead to 39?
I did see that.
That was crazy.
That was crazy.
I have him at
insane.
7, and I think the younger guys I have above him is worthy for them to be above him this season and this playoff.
Okay, man.
If you have a team and you're like, okay, I don't know what this team is, but we need a point guard, you're taking Drew over Darius Garland.
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah, he's more of a veteran.
Wow.
See, I know I had Drew below Garland, but I can understand.
I can understand
understand
it,
that.
but still, Garland at 8. Okay.
Feels low.
At 6,
Feels low.
this is where I had Darius Garland. I feel like he held the Cavs down, and the Cavs were a top seed like the whole year. They had no Ricky Rubio. They had no Colin Sexton. They really had no ball handler besides Darius Garland the whole year, and he was doing everything efficient. He was passing the ball efficient. His usage rate was low, but his assist percentage was super high. He shot the ball close to 40%, like you said. He averaged over 8 assists. He averaged 20 points a game. He was an all-star. There's not much you can ask more. His defense, it isn't even terrible. It's just average. And I think that's what makes him a great point guard. And I think next year, he'll be in the top 5.
For Garland, you had that at 6 or 7.
I had Garland at 6.
So what was your 6?
My 6 was I had Garland too.
There we go.
Right above Chris Paul. I just feel like he did a lot more offensively. I know the assists, but he moved the ball well, did a lot more offensively, and he was just more influential and impactful to his team than Chris Paul really was.
He gave Jared Allen an all-star, basically,
That's
just
true.
do that pick and roll.
Just like Chris Paul and
Mobley,
DeAndre Jordan.
second for Rookie of the Year.
Second. So he got a second for a Rookie of the Year. He got an all-star. He's got his team
an all-star. Yeah.
really close in the seeding, and he got himself an all-star.
Yeah.
I think that's a perfect season for a third-year guard who not a lot of people had faith in.
Yeah,
True,
definitely.
especially with Colin Sexton's injury. All right, so for number 5, I'll start it off. I had Marcus Smart.
Marcus Smart at 5 is
No,
crazy.
It's not. It's not.
He's
that
not
crazy.
even on my list.
It's not that crazy.
What did he average?
That's not
You pull
very
that up?
Marcus Smart of you to not have him on your
Nah,
list.
explain.
Terrible
Dude,
job.
he's the second guard in NBA history to get D-point. I don't care what you say, he deserved
He
it.
didn't deserve it.
He did
He
deserve
did deserve it.
He's averaging.
I
All
don't-
right. So he's averaging 12 points, 6 assists
12.6
on
assists.
40%, 40
Okay,
and
but
30 splits.
he was on every. He was on.
That's Ish Smith numbers.
He was.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Ish Smith's probably better than that.
Yeah. But every single game he was on the other team's best guard, and we don't have to talk about Steph Curry's performance in the finals against him, but
1.7 steals and 0.3 blocks.
it's more than me. It's
That's
more than I average this season.
That's not deep
That's
boy stats for
good.
defense.
I'd rather have Drew Holiday as my defender.
And
than
only
Marcus
3
Smart as my
defensive
defender.
rebounds too. I know he's a point guard, but that means something on the defensive end.
Marcus Smart at 5 is insane. Who
He
is your 5?
shouldn't. My 5 was Murray. I had DeJounte Murray.
You got DeJounte Murray is someone who's 6'6", playing great defense.
He's
all
averaging
defensively.
19, 9, and 9 with 2
Exactly.
steals, a block, impactful in his team. I know Spurs weren't great, but he was there. He was important.
He was an all-star.
He was an all-star.
He was playing all that defense. He was scoring. He was doing everything.
versus
take Marcus Smart?
someone who's
You know-
averaging 12 and 6. You know,
You could take this
on
back.
on this summer Drew Holiday that we're on right now, I just really don't think it's very Marcus Smart of you not to have him on your list.
Okay,
your
okay.
terrible jokes don't make up for
At
your terrible
5,
takes.
I had John Moran.
What?
I had John Moran at 5.
Oh, because you Chris Paul. Oh no.
Because
no.
John Moran, we've talked about this a lot.
No.
When John Moran's not there, his team is better.
Oh, I don't.
Okay,
agree.
well,
I
alright.
don't agree.
Well, I have recently taken that back because I looked closer at the games that he's not there. They were all games that were easy. They played the Mavs,
Yeah.
sure. Luka wasn't playing. They played other good teams. They're good players when we're playing.
I still feel like just winning all those games, because winning a game in the NBA is so hard. Like, you can lose to the Pistons on any night if you have an off night. That team was consistently winning those games, partially when he wasn't there, and sometimes when Jaren Jackson wasn't there, and sometimes when Steven Adams was saying. It was just those players going out and doing it. And Ja, on my top 10 point guards list, he had the second highest usage rating, the second lowest assist rating. Like, he wasn't really doing much of the playmaking. He was just feeding his open guys. He wasn't creating much plays. He was just giving open assists.
He's averaging 27 points, man.
So yeah,
You can't take that away.
I feel like his defense.
he's their scorer. He's less of a point guard, more of a scorer.
I know, but I feel like everyone above him does what he does better.
No, Chris Paul
Just
doesn't.
with less scoring.
No, Chris Paul doesn't.
I feel like
No
what
way.
Chris
Paul
Paul
leads.
brings more
Chris Paul
than
leads.
John Moran.
No.
If you put Chris Paul on that team, that's literally how he brought the Thunder to the playoffs.
But then that team has no scorer then.
Chris Paul will find a way to score.
No.
He will
His
turn
15 points
Steven
is not
Adams
doing
into
that.
DeAndre Jordan.
No.
Prime DeAndre Jordan.
Prime DeAndre Jordan.
I like Adams.
Dylan Brooks will become JJ Redick.
Okay,
That's actually just Desmond Bain.
So wait, what are we at?
Yeah.
We're at 4 now?
Yeah.
Okay, so for my 4, I had Ja.
Mm-hmm.
I
So
did as well.
Just alright, so we all had Ja for 4?
I
No,
had
you
him
had
at
him for
5.
Oh, you had him for
Who's
5?
your 4?
At 4, I had Christopher Emmanuel Paul, the point guard.
No.
Chris Paul,
This is
okay.
not 2012,
Chris Paul,
bro.
I was looking at usage rates a lot last night. Chris Paul had a 19.7. That's lower than Danilo Gallinari. Okay, that's lower than Frank Jackson. It was like 110th in the league. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. His usage rate was so low, and his assist was 43.4. That's super
That's
high.
amazing.
That's super. We all know what Chris Paul does. He scores and he passes the ball.
And he chokes.
And he scores efficiently. That's why he would have been higher on. He would have been here no matter what. Even with that bad playoff performance, he got that
That's the
team
most
there.
recent thing we've seen. And
He
He
still
wasn't-
averaged 1.9 steals.
Yeah, he's a decent defender. He's not his all defensive team Chris Paul, but he's still a positive defender. And so being a positive defender, being the sole playmaker on their team, because Campaign's not a playmaker, Aaron Holiday's not a playmaker, Devin Booker's not even that good at
I don't like
playmaking.
Devin Booker.
So he was defending, he was playmaking, he was scoring when they need it. Even sometimes you see him get a couple rebounds. Like, Chris Paul just does everything, and that's why I had him at my 4.
Which you have? Oh, you had Ja for 4?
I had
So
Ja.
Ja,
So
Chris Paul.
I'll start out for 3. For 3, I had Chris Paul.
Chris Paul.
Yeah, 3 I had Chris Paul. You know, everything that he said, just like it's his leadership that just has carried every single team that he's been on to a winning record. He, you know, like what was it was they increased their winning percentage, right, to above 500. Every single team that he's been on, it has been below 500, and then when he got traded there, it got moved to above 1.
Chris Paul's a winner.
Do you
Yes.
not have Trae Young on your list?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Forgot about him.
Who's your 10 then?
Oh, I totally forgot him. I had Trey at 6.
Trae at
What?
I had Trey at 6.
Are you
He's not good.
what?
It's not good. I don't
Oh,
like him.
Oh,
nah.
God.
I don't like
Oh,
him.
nah.
I was considering Trae Young at 2.
That's
Yeah.
because
That's
you're
where I
insane.
was.
You're crazy.
I have Trae Young at 3.
Pull
You're
up his
actually
numbers
insane.
right
I
now.
am.
Trae Young at 3.
We're at 3, right?
Yeah.
I had Trae Young,
Trae Young
at
at
3
3,
too.
yeah.
Trae Young is the offense. Trae Young is an offense on his own. Look at that.
Playmaking.
What's that say?
shooting,
21
and-
and 10.
28 and 10.
28 and
9,
10.
9.7.
We're gonna round up from
He's
28
such a
and 10.
liability on the other side of the floor, though.
It doesn't change
It doesn't
the fact.
change the fact that he's so good.
So you had
John Moran over Trae
you had
Young.
Marcus Smart. above
You had
Trae.
Marcus Smart over Trae
Okay,
Young?
Let's just say I forgot
Marcus
about him
Smart
for now,
on
okay?
Trae.
Whoa,
over Trae
Let's just say I forgot
yeah,
about
we'll
him.
pretend you left him off your list.
I did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Awful.
How would you put him at 2, though?
Trae Young does everything Steph Curry does, but he's a better point guard.
You have
How is he
You have
not? How is he a
Luka
better point
at
guard?
one.
No.
Wait, just hear me out. Do you think Trae Young is a better playmaker than Steph Curry?
No.
Really?
No, he's not.
I don't know.
He may average more assists, but
His
that's not what it's about.
playmaking reminds me a lot of James Harden,
Trae
and the
Young?
fact of he can get to the basket and
Trae Young
throw
reminds me
that
of
quick
Steve
hoop,
Nash.
you know, like. But you know, like you see, like Harden and Capella,
Yeah.
he reminds
Trae
me a
Young
lot
and
of that.
Capella.
Yeah,
But,
Trae
you
Young
know,
doesn't have
he
that
does that, and he
chemistry with
can-
the team that Steph does. That's why I think he's a better playmaker.
I just feel like
Mm.
Capella wasn't even there this season, like half the season. He didn't
Neither
play.
was John Collins.
Neither was John Collins. And Trae Young, like, brought that team to a 9 seed. Like, I know
true,
that's
yeah.
not that good, but think about it. He was that offense. He was getting, like,
Yeah.
all
Who
of
else
those
did he have?
assists.
Kevin Herter,
Yeah.
Danilo, like
Kevin Herter, Danilo Gallinari. When your team is, look, that
Mm.
color.
they still clinched the. Yeah, they clinched the playoffs.
They got the
That's
A seed.
great.
yeah.
The A seed with just Trae Young is crazy. That's just how good he is. And even though people think he's a good 3-point shooter, he's not a great 3-point shooter. But he gets to his spots, he hits his floaters, and I think,
He'll improve.
yeah, with him improving, he
No
can only
consistency
get
will
better.
come
And
through, yeah.
So if
think
I
he can only
rewrote my
rise.
list, I would put him at 3. I would put him at 3.
All right.
If-
So we
if I
have a
remember
Trae
who
Young
he was.
consensus at
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So who did you have for 3?
I had Trae.
You had Trae.
Trae,
Okay.
yeah.
So for 2, I'm gonna start it off with Luka Magic. You know, I think that he's gonna be a top 5 player, or if he's not already, he's gonna be a top 5 player in the NBA. For a long time coming. You know, he's a triple-double threat on every given night. He can make anybody look like prime Michael Jordan, and he just can do things that I've just never seen anybody else do.
See, that's why I had him at 1.
I have him at 2. The main reason I have Steph above him would be for not only obviously the playoff run,
Mm-hmm.
but just his shooting ability, his ability to gain the defense's attention, which
Yeah.
I know Luka does as well. But
Yeah.
when you have 3 people guarding Steph at the top of the key, you know, and how he works in the Warrior system and everything, it's you know, it's very notable. And obviously Luka's run to the Western Conference Finals was extremely
Yeah,
surprising. But
beating the Suns, that was amazing.
I could
40.
see Luka getting MVP this year.
Me
Oh,
too.
yeah.
I mean,
Easily.
he was 3rd this year, right? Because this
Yeah.
was the first year I'm pretty sure that top
Now
3
he has-
MVP were all foreign-born players.
But he has Dinwiddie, he has Christian Wood.
Yeah.
Christian
Right.
Wood, right?
But he's going to get it.
So you know he spread. You know, it's a spread the floor. You know, kick in, kick out. You know.
Spread with the way, yeah.
So,
Yeah. Okay. So for
So
number 1, then you have Luka.
I had Luka
Steph.
because his numbers are better than Curry. His team, although he didn't do as good as Curry, his team is significantly worse than Curry. So I think when he's doing that good, when he's drawing all your defenders, everyone's looking at Luka. Same way everyone's looking at Steph. I just think he's more impactful. That's
okay.
me.
It's understandable.
All right, so I guess that concludes the point guard list. I think with that'll conclude episode 5 of The Rebound. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, and have a great day.
Peace.